And welcome back to our two-part Star Wars The Force Awakens review right here on the Rule Thirds podcast. My name is Max.
My name is Sean.
And my name is Larry.
If you're just joining us from binging the first Force Awakens part, good, I'm glad that you're here for the second part. Now, just so you, much like most part ones and part twos these days, part two is going to be full of more action and humor and story and
speculation.
Theories.
Yeah.
And speculation.
Oh my god.
It's the new
so
hip
funny.
thing to split things into two parts. So, we're just jumping on that train.
So
I do not support that, by the way. I do not support splitting movies into parts.
So last time we...
A big franchise this year made a compelling case with my fourth favorite movie of the year. Ooh.
Okay, here's where I'll draw the line. If they do Episode 9, Part 1 and Part 2.
Yeah.
That's
then we say
when I'll
stop
draw
it.
the line.
Star Wars, stop it.
Yeah.
No, Star Wars, don't. It's already 3 parts.
Now I'll talk about it later. So, I just want to put out the ground here. So, as you noticed from last time, we didn't really do much like normal stuff because we just wanted to get to the good stuff of the review because it was Star Wars and because it's still Star Wars and stuff. But we have to do other things like the community segment. So, Sean, what do the community have to say about Mockingjay Parts 2 and The Good Dinosaur?
So, basically what happened is we recorded the last episode quickly so no comments were up, and then we rushed to get to Star Wars, so we have like 2 things to go through really quick, but I'll do it very quickly. So this is on Mockingjay Part 2 review and Good Dinosaur, that review. Gear 12 says, haven't seen the other movie, doesn't much to say, but he was not a fan of Good Dinosaur's visual style, how it clashed with the super realistic. He was glad they used Monsters and Men song, which I've heard a lot about.
Yeah, crystals!
There you go. He did not like the book Mockingjay Part 2. He said he absolutely hated it, so that's,
Well, you mean the book Mockingjay.
Mockingjay. Oh, yeah, I guess it would just be Mockingjay, yeah.
Right.
And he says that he suggested that we should have a lightsaber duel to decide who's hosting. And that is a good idea, but we couldn't find any in time, so, Whitley says Good Dinosaur wasn't top-tier Pixar, but good Disney. Disagree heavily.
Agree heavily.
Part 2, he said it was padded with a little substance. Disagree heavily. And then also Whitley says, notice that many Western animated films have making their side characters into dogs, despite their species. And I've noticed that just in movies in general. It's like, hey, we have a, kind of species bending. What should they act like? A dog? It seems to always fall to that.
Hey, man's best friend, it's a foil.
And then we only have one.
As I'm looking at my dog right now.
Yeah, and we only have one for the Batman vs Superman and Captain America Civil War trailer reactions, which was a fun topic. You should definitely listen to it.
We really fell behind on this stuff, guys.
We did. Whitley.
Sorry.
Whitley says,
Whatever.
He says, firstly, I commented on your last episode. Check again. We did. Sorry about that, Whitley. We just recorded early, so it is noted, and we have responded. Sorry about the delay. He says they couldn't get through this episode of a vacation, blah, 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 whatever. For the trailers, he says Civil War excites him, while Batman vs Superman, Dawn of Justice looks like bad fan fiction movie come to life. I'm excited for the former, but not the latter. And I agree, if they don't pull it off, it will feel like bad fan fiction. But I think there's a chance they do pull it off.
I will probably still like it either way.
Yeah,
I think it's going to be entertaining.
I'm probably going to be like, that was really cool. Ooh, look, colors. That's kind of my thing.
That's how Max views movies.
You have high regard for your film criticism, Max. That much is clear. Anyway, that is the community segment. So back to you, Max.
Awesome. So now it's time to finish what we started a week ago and conclude our review of Star Wars The Force Awakens. Now, I want to point out, has anybody seen the movie again since our previous episode?
Yes.
Oh.
Yeah,
okay.
I've seen it 5 times now in theaters.
5 times, guys. 5 times.
Jesus. I'm going to see it in IMAX eventually. Okay, and has any of our opinions changed regarding this movie?
I'll get to some specifics. I want to kind of clarify, but overall,
does it change our score? Does it change your score at all?
No. But we should go through them again really quick.
Great.
Yeah.
Has anybody else seen any other movies? Yes?
Yes.
Good. We'll save them for another time.
Fine. God.
I think we should do our scores again, though.
You just worked me up to push me down, Max.
That's what we live for,
That's how
Larry.
life works, Larry.
Harsh life lesson.
8.5. I was an 8.5.
8.5 for me, too.
I was a Star Wars out of 10, but that translated to an 8.5.
8.5.
Yeah, so it's one of the few times when we were all on the exact same page with this movie. That doesn't happen often, does it?
No, it doesn't.
No, not
It's going to be, but see, okay, so last time, if you haven't joined us yet, which you should totally go listen to the last part, because we talk about the most important, vital, and best part of the movie, the characters. Now we're going to talk about everything else and include some extra fan speculation just for you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
So
we should be
first
kind
things
of clear
first.
though, really quickly.
Oh.
A lot of story stuff came up. A few action things came. Like it's not like part 1 was literally just characters, but now we're actually going to get in depth to it because now we kind of focus on it.
Right.
So I feel like it would be kind of weird
Yeah.
to
So we're not going to spend this time like recapping our thoughts on all the characters. Just go watch the first part. That's
Yeah.
why this is part 2 and not episode 2, because you got to go watch the first part before you watch the second part.
Yes.
So, where to begin? Well, I guess we just start now with the story of Star Wars: The Force
used that
Awakens.
like 5 times. Anyway, actually, sorry, I am going to go back.
That's not the sound of music, buddy.
Well, no, it's the start at the very beginning. A very good place to start is the Sound of Music
Yeah,
reference.
no, that's a
Right.
John Tron reference. Anyway, so this is the plot of The Force Awakens.
Can I stop
So
right there?
I want to
Max? Can I just stop right there? I just realized I did see it again. I wanted to just clear the air on something. As I was sitting there
okay.
enjoying myself, I realized I might have come across as too harsh on Ray and Finn. Because I was just kind of playing the...
You were, and you should feel bad about it.
I liked
do.
how you had different opinions.
No, I just
about them.
you two were praising so much. I just kind of focused on my small
Oh,
nitpicks.
wow.
But I wanted to
Wow.
reiterate, I really like both characters. I really thoroughly enjoy both characters. Rey, I'm really stoked for her to be our protagonist this trilogy. Finn is really fun, and I'm glad he's going to be sticking around. We're going to get a lot more of him. I'm very excited to see where these two go, and I enjoy them. I wanted to clear that up. Because it's like, well, if you didn't like the 2 main characters, why'd you love the movie? Well, I did like them. I just wanted to make sure people knew that. Because as I was watching, I'm like, man, I really like these 2. I hope I didn't, sound that negative. So
Yeah.
anyway, that's cleared.
While we're on the subject, I just want to say I was thinking about this the other day. I wish okay, so I want to talk about the marketing real quick, just really quickly, considering
Okay.
how much content was made basically for the trailers, such as
Well-
the amazing Kylo Ren lightsaber thing.
Yeah,
I
but
don't
at
know
the same
what-
time,
yeah, the reveal.
there was a lot deleted. And you can go
Yeah.
/film, website I love. I think Max and Leo, you both go to /film.
I am a fan of
yeah.
that.
Oh
site
yeah.
as well,
So I
Did-
introduced you to Slash Film for the record.
I don't remember how I was
I just
introduced.
kind of got it from both of your tweets, and I was just like,
Yeah.
this must be
Yeah.
a pretty good website.
So it's
Anyway,
there's just a
they
lot
did
of like content
feature.
that was cut.
They did a feature. There's 20 deleted scenes, and sometimes it's little snippets. So it's not like 20 full scenes, but a lot of the stuff in the trailers, like we never saw that cool lightsaber draw. You're right, Max, and we never saw Maskanata giving the lightsaber to Leia. Like there were things that
Which
were cut.
was a completely different from what happens in the movie. It's like
Well, it was
you
because that
watch
was
that
cut.
little thing and you're like, oh my god, how would they even incorporate that into the plot?
Yeah.
Oh, you can tell a lot got cut from the movie.
Yeah. Anyway, you can go look at that.
Yeah.
But yeah,
I will just
marketing
say
was really
I do
well done.
kind of wish that we had heard the line, there are stories about what happened. Because I
Yeah.
think that was a really, really cool line from Rey that just kind of illustrates what this is. Because, I mean, we have the line, Luke Skywalker, but I thought he was just a myth. But, like,
That
stories about
touched
what
on
happens
it.
is a
Yeah.
lot.
I would have liked
Yeah,
the
it's-
events also becoming legend, not just the people. Like that. Yeah, that was a cool concept.
Yeah. Anyway, I just wanted to throw that out there, just because the marketing, I think, has a lot to do with how people reacted to the plot, because it didn't throw us off as much as just always keep us in the dark. And I want that to continue for episodes 8 and 9. Disney, if you're listening, which I know you are, because you're big Rule Thirds fans.
Uh-huh.
They're probably big Real Talk fans.
Yeah, John Lasseter is listening right now. Like, Mom, he just said my name on Real Thirds.
Yeah, so the plot of The Force Awakens, I just want to start at the very, very beginning. And I mean, like, the first sentence of the title crawl. Luke Skywalker has vanished, which basically answers the big question of the marketing, which was,
Where's Luke?
where was
Luke?
he?
Where's
There you
Luke,
go,
guys?
there he was.
We don't know, guys.
We don't know.
either.
He's gone. He left. Bye.
Yep.
Yeah,
It's- I liked how that opened. That just set the stage. Like I was in the theater, it's like, okay, how are we going to open? What's the text? It's like Luke Skywalker's vanished. I'm like, well, yeah.
Yeah. Here's the
pretty
thing.
much how you
I
have to
just want to
start.
say I knew about this because it's gonna sound really lame, but I accidentally read the 2-sentence synopsis for the Disney Infinity The Force Awakens playset, which, for the record, I do have. There's Kylo Ren. He looks awesome. It just says like, join new heroes as they search the galaxy to find an old ally, and I'm like, it's Luke. There's
okay.
no.
I knew
It's
Luke was missing. Like that was like
Yeah.
just everywhere on the internet. Everyone knew that the movie was about finding him, and it wasn't really, but that was definitely a big
Yeah.
part of it.
So,
Like, the
what
plot
do you guys
device was-
think? What do you guys think about that? The fact that the movie is kind of about the search for Luke, and the whole war is about Luke's disappearance.
I think it's cool.
Everything in this movie is about Luke.
Yeah,
That's
I
the
think
weird
that's cool.
thing about this.
Our big bad is afraid of him. Our heroes are desperately needing his help. It just sets up episode 8 so well. Where now we have him. Like, why was he running?
Yeah.
He has to deal with what he ran from. Like, literally, he's probably going to have a sweet fight with Kylo Ren.
Yeah, it also makes a lot of sense given.
Kylo Ren's probably going to kill him.
I don't know if they do it twice.
He'll do what Obi-Wan did. You know? I'll
they're
save
not
the
gonna
speculation
repeat.
for later. I
Yeah,
don't want to do this.
don't worry, we'll get there.
It'd be nice to have a main Jedi character who doesn't kick the bucket. But
It's true. It's true.
it's I like that because Luke. Sometimes in the grand scheme of things, when you're thinking about Star Wars, it can be hard to remember that Luke is really. Because a lot of people are like, Anakin's the chosen one, and I'm like, yeah, but Luke's also pretty important too.
Yeah,
he was a huge part of what makes this franchise and makes the story what it is. So to have him now, basically in the chosen one setting now, not exactly, but he is the guy, the myth, the legend, the person that we need his help. I think it's a really nice it's a really nice continuation of his character.
Yeah.
It'll be interesting to see what happens with him when he gets some dialogue to talk about it in 8.
And can we just... Okay, I got to say it right now. Because it upsets me, and we're just talking about story in general. This is not a remake of Episode 4.
Yeah, I wanted to
stop
touch
that.
upon. I wanted
Because
to touch upon that a little bit.
Every
too.
time I go on IMDb and the Force Awakens page and I scroll down to user reviews, the review that's highlighted is a 4-star that says, not a sequel, but a remake. Sad, but true. I'm like, it's literally not.
Yeah,
Wait, the fact that it's similar to the New Hope?
Yeah, it's literally not a remake. Like, you can't even...
That's kind of... All right, it's not a remake. That's dumb.
Well, yeah,
it's not a
definitely
reboot either. It's... People kind of calling it like a weird... it might be a reboot of the Star Wars
it's
saga.
a sequel. It is a sequel. I don't
No,
get... There's
it's a
by
sequel.
definition. Like, there's
It's a
no
sequel, but
reboot
it's
elements.
it's a more modernized. It's obviously it's more modernized because it was made in the modern day.
Yeah,
at least right
But,
now.
okay, the
That's
thing
not what
is,
reboot means.
I can't talk. I can sort of see where people are coming from with the whole New Hope thing because there's a lot, and I mean a lot, of stuff that is lifted from that.
But
For
that's-
example, the whole beginning with a little droid with the powerful thing that the bad guys and the good guys are looking for, that he's going towards, and he runs into this person in the desert who doesn't know anything but kind of wants to fight in the war, but then she also doesn't want to, even though he wants to. There's a few similarities, okay? There are. I'm not saying they're the same movie, but there are some similarities, and I think that's a big problem with the
Although
movie.
when you look at the technicalities of that whole situation, they're quite different.
Yeah, it's just a
okay, it's this.
Yeah, I
It's
understand.
the same beats, though. It's the same beats, and
Yes.
it's not like a terrible like game or movie deal breaker. It's not a huge deal breaker, but it is noticeable. And every time somebody like defends it, they're always like, "Well, yeah, they got to set the groundwork. This is like going to be normal." It's like that's appeasing to the fans, and that's not good.
No.
You should never put fan appeasement into the dang story.
It's not though. It seems
not,
like it's
though.
the real. It's a real story. Like, I hate people who are
It
like
is a
that-
real story that
But
was
he-
also influenced by what the filmmakers want to tell the fans.
I mean, sure,
and we shouldn't worry about
influenced,
that.
but the order in which the beats are hit and the actual it's all so surface, the repetition. But like actually
Yeah.
deep down, like thematically, it's drastically different from A New Hope. Mm-hmm. And
I
people forget that A New Hope is actually like really light and straightforward and not deep at all. As
It's
fun as
simple,
it is,
yeah.
like it's
Not deep at
sincerely
all.
not.
Yeah.
I can't stress how much Empire. Like Roger Ebert, I read a review. He said Empire like gives the Star Wars its heart because otherwise it really like it has to be kind of in the center. It stretches into Return of the Jedi and stretches back to A New Hope, and like that's true. A New Hope on its own is a very basic popcorn movie, and I love it. And I don't say this is a bad thing, but people need to realize that this movie does so much more than A New Hope in terms of like theme and character development and all that. Like, what was Luke's character change? He just kind of did what he wanted to do. In the end.
He didn't really like.
He never struggled with it.
Right.
Yeah, okay. It is a very. Here's the thing. It's very much like a simple story, and yeah, Empire really does give the heart and the characterization that like people love. Like
Yeah, Empire's
they're just they're caricatures, and then but we're not here to talk about the original. We're talking about the similarities, and I do think there are similarities, especially with the climax, which we will get to.
I totally
as we,
disagree. Climax plays
Okay.
so different.
Okay.
Another. And you know what? I'll just say this for later. Say this for
No,
later.
okay.
bring it
I would
now.
like.
Bring it up now.
It's not another Death Star.
Another dang destroyer. Another one.
But okay,
I'm sorry. I know they bring up the Death Star. I know they do the whole thing. No, I'm
Guys,
tired of it. And I
here's
know you
what
were
I
right,
think the
Sean.
problem
You
is.
said it'll blow up systems, not just planets. And it's just, come on. Why do we always have to go back to this?
Because it's
Why?
a good plot motivator. That's
Yeah.
something that's kind of bumming me out. Is like people really hold A New Hope as like this infallible thing. Like, it's one of my favorite movies, but I can point out to the Death Star is just that. It's just so there's this looming threat. There's no other purpose. There's nothing else to it. It's just
That's the same thing with Starkiller Base.
Right, but like
listen, A New Hope is not my favorite Star Wars movie.
It's really not. It's a good plot motivator. And but letting it be like this whole planet let the climax play out much differently. It wasn't just a long trench run, which it got repetitive in A New Hope. As impressive as the effects are and as fun it is a bit repetitive. It's, this group goes in, it's like 3 groups go into the trench and they're all destroyed except Luke at the very end makes it through. It's repetitive. Here, there's so much more at stake emotionally. Han confronts Kylo Ren. Rey has to face Kylo Ren. Finn, finally faces him too. You have, Chewie feeling
fine,
sad.
but just
Kylo
another
everybody facing Kylo Ren.
Everybody facing Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
It was like if Obi-Wan was killed.
Kylo Ren, the terrible, horrible, no good, very bad day.
Yeah. If if Obi-Wan was killed by Darth Vader during the Death Star attack, and if Luke had to fight Darth Vader, and Han Solo also fought Darth Vader, then maybe I would consider the climax the same.
That would be
it
the
plays
weirdest
so
thing.
differently.
The
Because,
weirdest.
like, think about thematically. What is achieved thematically in Star Wars? It's just the fulfilling of the hero's journey, which is very satisfying. Don't get me wrong. Again, love the first Star Wars movie, but here it plays totally different. It just does. And Poe Dameron is not the Luke. He's just he's the side character that happens to blow up the thing that will blow up the thing.
Yeah,
the
he
thing.
really is reverse Han.
The thing
really
that
is.
blows up
But the
thing.
core, the actual core of the climax has nothing to do with blowing up Starkiller Base. That's what I think the big difference is. Emotionally speaking, what do you remember from the climax? Han confronting Kylo Ren, and then Finn and Rey both fighting him as well.
Well, it's debatable what the climax is exactly, because
but think
Well,
about
you could
okay.
say the climax is actually that final battle with Rey and Kylo Ren.
it is.
See, that's why I feel the climax kind of plays out more like Jedi. Because we have a lot of multiple different things going on, as opposed to like the double climax of A New Hope.
Yeah, I
basically,
mean, Han
where,
Solo
we
is
have
even taking down a shield generator again.
Yeah, where we
very
have like
sick.
Death Star.
It's interesting
and then
because it's
another
not
Death Star.
exactly a run through of A New Hope. It's kind of a run
It's
through of
not.
the entire original trilogy.
I was kind of
Like,
going to bring that up. It's like a remix of little bits of all the 3 movies.
remix.
But I don't think it's a bad thing, 'cause I think it
But
makes them
That's
new.
awesome. I love to think of it that way.
It's not a deal breaker, but I wish I could have seen something far more like inspired and new. Say what you will about those prequels, but at least they had something different from the
That's
original.
true.
You can look at the prequels and you can look at the originals and you can be like, that's different from that. Here, it's a bit foggier.
You know, Max. Even I wouldn't even fully agree with that because I feel that there are a lot of parallels throughout the Star Wars
narrative
saga.
parallel, like I know
yeah.
stanzas. Stanzas they rhyme with each other. I know that whole Lucas quote. But even then, like you look at the prequels, like even visually, they look different from the originals, and I think that was intentional. I think that does help these two stand out.
So does
and
this
I think
one.
I think it's because the prequels are trying so desperately to not stay in the shadow of the original trilogy. Here, I think the Force Awakens is very content with living in the shadow of the original trilogy.
It felt like it had to because fans got burned by the prequels.
Yeah,
and if we don't,
there is that
if we
stigma
don't
there.
throw our they made an entire featurette, like this 3-minute featurette about just like, hey guys, look at all the practical effects we're doing. It's like, come on. You don't have to. I mean, you might as well just remake
you
the
don't have to
prequels if you
appease
hate
to
them
us.
so much.
You guys are the smart filmmakers. We're just the dumb people who will go crazy about the smart filmmaking. Like honestly,
Okay, look, Force Awakens. What I cared about and what I picked out, there's nothing like it in New Hope. Like Kylo Ren's my favorite character. Right.
Oh yeah, there's
His
nothing like him in
struggle, all
any
that.
Star Wars movie.
There's nothing like that in A New Hope, and the emotional stakes it's just not the same. Because Luke isn't actually going through anything emotionally outside of, I hope Darth Vader doesn't shoot me down, right? Whereas what's emotionally at play during the climax of Force Awakens is just drastically different. It's Kylo Ren having just, at least tried to fully fall to the dark side. It's Rey accepting something greater than what she'd kind of resigned herself to in the desperate hope of her family coming back, which will, of course, eventually lead her to her family because, that's clearly where the arc's going, and it's probably Luke, but we'll get to that. It plays totally different. So that's what I hate. Like, yes, on the surface, there's another Death Star. There's kind of a trench run. I actually kind of like that to get in that hole in the oscillator. Like they had to go in the canyon a little bit, so it was a little bit of a trench run, but it didn't last long. And yes, there is kind of the Obi-Wan moment when Kylo Ren kills Han. Did we ever say spoiler?
Oh my god! Assume, guys. Assume.
Oops.
Our first part was spoilers. This part spoilers. if I can add wait, Sean, were you done with your thought? Or
I don't know. To summarize, emotionally, it's very different. I think people saying it's a remake are just looking at surface because it plays totally different. Because the moment Anakin killing Obi-Wan is very different than Kylo Ren killing Han. It's just dramatically different. And Luke blowing the Death Star is way different. It just sorry, Vader. It just emotionally plays so different. Stop looking at this surface value like a Death Star, trenches, X-wings, lightsabers. I mean, come on. And yes, there's a cantina, Maz Kanata's cantina, but
oh my god,
it's so different in its function.
They're still so different.
It seems so surface level. That's why I'm so upset with the people that keep saying that. Also, because I love the movie and I hate unfair criticism being lobbed at it. But anyway, that's my final point.
I think I agree with a lot of what you're saying. I'm the first person who really enjoys. One of my favorite things about Star Wars is just how there are so many parallels between characters that goes through, how Max said, stanzas rhyme with each other, and I love that. But again, what I think, at first I was one of those people who were like, yeah, there are a couple of similarities here to A New Hope that I can't get out of my mind. But the thing about it is that the things that are used from A New Hope they take the surface level ideas of those moments in A New Hope, but they twist them around and they change them a lot. And I think this is especially clear with the characters. These characters are not just Han, Luke, and Leia.
It'd be so easy to make Poe Dameron Han Solo.
But like the thing is though, he does have qualities of Han Solo, but he also has qualities of Leia, and he also has a little bit of qualities of Luke.
Basically, Poe Dameron is original trilogy hero, the person. He's kind of a combination of all three.
But that's a great thing. Yeah. I think it's great to have sort of a bunch of different traits. I mean, like, think about Luke's different traits. I feel like there are a couple of traits from Luke, and they're spread in between all three heroes. And the same for Han and the same for Leia.
Yeah,
and
Rey has the whole home and leaving the home, except it's reversed, and Finn has the, I don't know, lightsaber.
Right. Okay, we could discuss it at length, whenever. But the idea, and this is not just for the characters, it's for a lot of other things. Like, for example, in the beginning, right, Max, you're talking about there's a droid and they're taking a thing and they have this piece of the puzzle. When you look at that situation, they're very different. Not only in how the basis of plot, but also just how the events happen. And it might seem simplistic, but those events, when you really think about it, there's quite a difference there. And speaking of the Star Killer base, yes, it's another Death Star, but at least there's bigger stakes here.
Yeah.
We're not just talking about some war base, because like the Death Star was a planet, but yet it was also a war base. I wish they could have expanded on that a little bit, but it's like at least with
it also. Keep going. Sorry.
At least with Star Killer Base, there is clear stakes, although a tad rushed, but I would like to segue to that in just a couple of seconds. At least we have this weapon that can clearly destroy a system. Like that is clearly we need to take action now. And I think that did a way better job, and the stakes were way higher than in, say, A New Hope, where they had to pull basically a double climax.
Here's what drives me nuts about Star Killer Base, though, and it's what it does in the story. First off, Sean, I'll give credit. You were right. It is a Death Star that destroys systems, not just a planet. Here's what drives me nuts, and it's a problem that A New Hope actually had too. There's this one scene in New Hope where all the Death Star dudes, they're all meeting together, hanging out, chilling, whatever, and one of them's like, the Emperor has disassociated, or what is it?
Dissolved the
Senate. And it's like, what Senate are you talking about? There is no Senate. You just told him, there's no Senate? Then we see the same thing with they keep bringing up the Republic and how the Resistance, there's no evidence for it. In A New Awakens, what? In The Force Awakens, this problem is there again. We see, just for a second, what I can only assume is Coruscant, maybe? Is it Coruscant?
No, it's not.
It's confirmed it's not Coruscant.
Yeah,
but
because they would not
funny
have
to think
Coruscant
of it
like that. Coruscant's way too cool to go like that.
Yeah, it's funny to think about it that way, though. It's interesting how we sort of made that connection.
Again, what Senate, what Republic are you talking? Listen, words are powerful, but they cannot give me enough evidence to see that there's a whole thing. The Resistance just seems to be this thing on its own. There were no, when they blew up the planet, it's like, oh man, these guys mean business. And again, I want to point out that I really like the Force Order. They are the first Star Wars entity that I actually find intimidating. But it's just because we don't care about a Republic, there's not even there's nobody on there that I care about. There's no story to that I care about. I care about the Resistance versus the New Order. The
that's
First
what
Order.
that's what you're supposed to. Here's the thing. It's funny. We well, I guess we didn't end up doing a Mad Max review, but I brought up that I wanted to hear more about different things in the world, and you disagreed. I think Star Wars is doing something very smart there, where they could have taken time and established this is the Republic, and this is whoever's in charge of the Republic, and here's how the Resistance is different. But I got it. Like first time, I got it. The Republic is its own thing. It's probably secretly backing the Resistance, at least as according to General Hux, which might be true, but may not be. It doesn't really matter. But the Resistance is like in First Order territory fighting them. I got it. I didn't need any more. I honestly didn't. And this was the first viewing where I got very little. I was so kind of overwhelmed and out of it. It was kind of a weird experience. I didn't absorb much emotionally, but I got that. I think that was smart. I didn't think the story needed to be slowed down with a history lesson on the Republic. Now, if you read the books, great, you do know the history, but I didn't, and I didn't need to. I understood there is a Republic, and it just got wiped out a little bit. I looked it up. It's like headquarters, like the main system was wiped out. The rest of the planets are still there. It's not like those 5 planets that were shown on screen was the Republic, obviously. Right. But I think it was a cool way. I mean, it's basically world building where they mention it, you get it. It's not important.
Yeah, but I don't know. If you
there's
really
just no emotional weight to that attack. It's just like you see all these people just like quickly. Like if we had a character on there, like
I mean,
I wouldn't suggest this, but let's say for example, Poe had to like go relay this information about the droid and stuff over to the Republic, and then he's on that planet, and then, oh my god, boom! And it's like, oh my god, we just lost Poe. The First Order killed Poe, and also a few planets, but mostly Poe, how dare they? I wouldn't want that.
Guys, we don't need to keep bringing up A New Hope, but we didn't even see Alderaan. We just saw the response that the characters got, and that's what mattered.
Well, I mean, with Alderaan,
it meant the Empire meant business. That's what's important.
Well, I mean, with Alderaan, we knew that it was Princess Leia's hometown, which gave a little bit, but really not that much. I mean, we didn't see Alderaan.
Here, there's not really even much of that. It's just like, the important place gone. Oh, jeez.
We saw like the city and the people, and like we saw like a disaster movie scene unfold at least. And we got the cool wide shot of it just wiping out the whole system. A New Hope, it just laser went boom, and that was enough. I think both cases, it's enough. I don't need the details. I got it. First Order just wiped out a system. Well, they got to stop them before they do it again. I got it. I'm with you.
Yeah, I mean, I don't think the importance of that scene was more so based off of do we know these characters. I think the importance was we need to understand the stakes of the situation, which is basically the First Order has a weapon that is very powerful, and that's why we had to blow up.
Yeah.
5 planets.
Makes sense. All right.
But
so I don't want to like. What?
I would like to segue to something that I think we might get a little bit out of, which deals with some of the twists, and it sort of works with the Starkiller base a little bit.
I want to ask about like the. I want to talk about like I don't want to go through like scene by scene like a lot of people are doing with this stuff.
I wasn't saying go scene by scene.
No. I'm not. I know that, but what I'm saying is, I think we should just sort of like find the things that we don't like, and then just maybe assume that everything else we liked because we liked a lot about this movie. Because there's one scene I really want to talk about, really quick.
Okay. Is it a twist scene or no?
No, it's not a twist scene.
Okay,
it is a scene. It's the only scene in the movie that really could have been taken out. Maybe I mentioned this in the first part.
What, you mean the Raftars?
Yeah,
the Raftars. Well, didn't we discuss this a little bit in the last episode?
Yeah, we kind of did.
Did we?
The scene itself, I think, was fun, and it felt.
It was a fine scene. It feels very unnecessary.
Yeah,
you want like take that scene out and take out all the bits with Chewie in trouble and like. I mean, was the whole point of that scene to somehow force Rey and Han in the same place together? Is that the only reason?
Well, yeah,
because we could have done that a lot faster than just a bunch of mobile sarlaccs. I mean. What?
Oh, I've already said the one thing I'm completely negative on is the design of those things. I just don't like their design.
Well, mobile sarlaccs.
Yeah, I'm with you on that.
Like, yeah, no, I'm not talking about like design though. I'm just talking about like that whole scene with all these people. It just feels very much like a set piece for the sake of a set piece. And considering how awesome the action is everywhere else, it feels very unnecessary. Like it doesn't need to be in there.
For me, I like that Han Solo was up to his old tricks, and I love the line, "There's no one left in the galaxy for you to swindle."
Okay, maybe that part that could stay in, but everything else could go. Like that whole thing where he's like, there's
I
no
just
one else
felt-
for you to swindle. Like that.
Yeah.
That whole thing that can stay.
It felt like we needed to make sure that it felt like 30 years had passed. And so when we join in with Han Solo, he's got a brand new like space station. He's still smuggling stuff. Oh, he has deals with 2 people. Like it felt like he's been up to stuff. That's one thing that like Luke that's one like downside is that we come to Luke and he's just kind of on an island. Like what has he been doing? Like we'll learn, but that was one kind of downside to that. But
What
Han
does
and
he
Leia, you
want?
both knew what they were doing. It felt very natural. Leia was a general for however many decades. Like that fit. You could imagine her going through rebuilding the Republic and all that. So that fit. And Han, you could definitely fill in his history, basically what he'd been doing, smuggling and all that. So I think it was a good scene to establish that. It could have been cut short a little bit. I liked Rey saving Finn with the door. That was fun, but I get that it wasn't essential.
Yeah.
I didn't mind it. I thought it was fine.
Okay, so it's time to talk
scene.
about the big reveal scenes and stuff. Because
Yeah,
I think Larry,
I would-
you and I have something to rant
Yeah,
about.
I want to talk about that a little bit, and I think
right,
this sort of connects to the Starkiller base.
But okay, should we
little
go
bit.
over like action and comedy first, or
No,
let's just stick
this
with
is-
story.
this is
Let's
story.
Do the
Yeah.
I'm your father. Do
Yeah,
that.
well,
no, that's
it's.
not okay. Well, yeah. So okay, so my
Can I,
big, okay.
can I please just say a point? I've been really trying to fit it in,
Sure.
and I just haven't.
All right,
had
all
time
right,
to
go
fit
for it.
Okay, so the thing about the Starkiller base that my problem with Starkiller base is the idea that it does feel a little rushed. We
Yeah.
even though the stakes are clearly there, Max has a point. We sort of see people, and of course there is an obvious automatic dramatic connection when we see innocent people being killed, but there is a bit of a rush to it. And that is not only with the Starkiller base. I feel there are a couple of things about this movie that they feel like they are in service of being ambiguous towards having a trilogy of movies as opposed to let's create a full arc in this first movie. And I think this is nowhere more apparent than with how they handle the twist, at least, and the development of Han Solo and Kylo Ren, their relationship. And and how they build up this and how they handle the twist, in my opinion,
What build up?
was way too early. Snoke just
Yeah.
drops it out of nowhere, and I get and it works.
Yeah.
No, let me be clear. It works in its own way.
Yeah.
There's this clearly like a whoa, like that moment where like oh my god, like wow, but like
Yeah,
also
I remember I said it out loud in the theater. What? Like,
Yeah.
and to a point where everybody probably heard me. But like,
yeah, but
it was-
also. Han Solo says the line, I want to see the face of my son. And if it was there instead of when Snoke was doing it, I think it would have had
okay, actually,
so
here's-
much more of
okay,
a reaction.
I want to jump off that because I disagree. So, so I want to start this by saying I love this connection. I love this family
Same.
connection because
Yeah.
when Han Solo says all of it, the Force, the dark side, it's all real. Not only is he saying that from, oh yeah, I saw these crazy things happening in the, in the previous 3 movies. We also know that he's speaking from his own personal experience with Kylo Ren. How he says it's all real because I saw that stuff. I experienced the worst of that stuff because my son is that. That's a great thing to finally see Han Solo confront the Force in a way that's just not just like, oh yeah, I believe in it now. It's awesome. Now, the reveal of that, even though it was crazy awesome the first time, it's really just kind of dropped. Like, I know, I think it was maybe put in to show that, like, Snoke is, like, this all-knowing being that, like, knows everything that's going on. But here's what I would have done. Cut out the whole, like, our son is there, like, all that, you could just say, Han Solo is there, and we see that Kylo Ren, there's a reaction. Like, he reacts somewhere. We're not really sure what that means. Like, we're not really sure how old this guy is. Like, how who he is, where he's from, all that stuff. No. The big twist should have been shown right when he yelled, Ben. Because that said so much in just... That's the weird thing. Like, I don't want to say I could do it better because they've already done it better. They just had to add in other weird things. Like, Ben is such a... Like, it's probably, like, the best line in the movie. Because it's, like... It's strong, it's desperate, it conveys a lot of emotion, and it says so much in just a 3-letter word. And I think that's the way we could have seen this whole, like, twist. I want to see the face of my son, but I would have traded that out for just,
I mean, we're talking about line semantics here, but I mean, I agree. We both agree that if it was done at the bridge, it just would have been a lot better. And I feel that
Ben.
not only, because like here's the thing in A New Hope, when Darth Sidious and I think it's A New Hope, when Darth Sidious and Darth Vader are talking,
That's
hey,
Empire.
it's Empire. Sorry,
Yeah,
the
Sidious doesn't
son.
appear until 5.
Right. Okay. Thank you for correcting me. And so he's like, the son of Anakin Skywalker is here. Like that name holds. I guess it holds a little bit of weight because we know that's the name of his father. I think that gets dropped other places. But like, we don't. For people who aren't aware of the twist, we don't know that Anakin is Darth Vader.
Yeah.
So like, if they had done something where it's like, no, this is where like Snoke was like, this is important, Kylo. Han Solo is here, right? And that would have been like, okay, there's a connection here, and I mentioned something in the first part where I was like, I didn't feel there was enough discussion of what exactly went wrong with their relationship or how exactly that worked.
Well,
if we had
I disagree.
Say. Well, okay, we disagree on that, but I think one conversation between Leia and Han is not enough. But if they had done it at the bridge, I could have excused that because it's in that moment. There's so much happening. Fine. We finally get the culmination in that moment. But this relationship is built up throughout 2/3 of the film, and not much is done with it. And I mean, yes, the Han, everything is real, does sort of evoke that. But that evokes a lot. The scene with Han and Leia evokes way more specifically of Kylo Ren. And it feels like, in 8 and 9, we're going to get more about that. But that's not... I'm not a fan of that, mentality.
I can see that. Yeah, Sean, what do you think about the whole reveal?
Yeah, sorry, Sean. I just kind of want to get that
family.
out.
Even though it's also the Skywalker. I mean, he is a Skywalker, isn't he?
Yeah, he's technically a Skywalker because of Leia's blood. But yeah, Sean, what do you think?
Ben, Organa, Skywalker, Solo.
All right, thank
Sean?
you.
Yeah,
Guys, who are you kidding? What audience member, in terms of like Star Wars fandom, honestly went in and was shocked that Kylo Ren was related to some of the main characters? And if you didn't go in expecting it, when Lars Van Tech, whatever, Max von Sydow,
Von Tekka,
says you can't deny the truth, that is your family. Did anyone seriously, like, thinking and theorizing about the movie at that point, did anyone say, what a weird, not meaningful line? Was anyone honestly surprised?
What are you saying,
it's
Sean?
not treated like a super
I was
meaningful
not surprised. I called it.
Well, yeah, because you theorized everything, and then it just
and
kinda,
there
like,
was rumors about it online.
Actually,
all the time.
I didn't even get the rumors. It made sense. It made so much sense to me. And I don't think they were fooling anyone. And honestly, it was refreshing. It was refreshing that it wasn't this build up for the climax, that it wasn't this great big hidden thing, because it would have felt fake to me. Because we knew something was up. That's the thing with twists. If you know a twist is coming, it's not going to be a great twist. You have to be able...
I didn't see it coming, honestly. I thought it would be Rey who'd get the whole family reveal. Or
Why
Finn,
not both?
but not Kylo Ren, no.
Seriously?
Yeah.
Even at the beginning of the
seriously.
movie, it's like, you cannot deny the truth, that is your family. You didn't think to yourself, gee, I wonder if that's some tied to the original trilogy characters.
Luke.
Really? Like,
It was
like,
not obvious it was Han, though.
Really?
Yeah.
Luke isn't...
No,
it
it's not
wasn't.
obvious that it was Han. Are you kidding me?
I thought that it was so obvious that
Yeah.
if they'd kept it up for the whole movie, I would have just been sitting there going, why are you holding this from us?
In fact, it would have been more obvious if it was Luke, given the fact that
No, I would have
Kylo
been
Ren
legitimately
is related
shocked if it
towards
was Luke.
Well,
Honestly.
see, Kylo Ren loves Darth Vader, and the most closely related character to Darth Vader is Luke.
But if he was related to Luke like that, he would have probably been warned. Anyway, but even beyond that, even though I have a hard time understanding the mindset where you didn't see that one coming. Even
I'm
without
sorry,
that,
I didn't see it coming.
because
Sorry,
it's-
Sean.
Okay, I think you really should have. It's like I was more shocked that the opening scene, Max von Sydow said something about his family. That was a legitimate surprise. I'm like, dude, don't say that to the audience. That made it feel so obvious. Anyway, even without that, even looking beyond that, look what this opened up. Most importantly, this opened up the Han and Leia dynamic way more than it would have been. Because how would they have interacted with hiding that elephant in the room? Han and Leia could not have reunited and been like, old times, one-liners exchanged, haha. Anyway, I'm gonna go now, and then he plunges into his son.
There's so much more to their dynamic than their son.
But think about it. How would that have played out? Wouldn't have that been so weird in hindsight? Like, wait, why didn't Han and Leia talk about that? Think about that. Han and Leia reunite after all these years, and they don't mention Kylo Ren, their son, that's fallen to the dark side. That would have played.
Well,
that would have felt
Maybe
like
they
it was
mentioned Kylo Ren.
No, that if
don't
they
have to
didn't
say son.
But why wouldn't they? That was either you're running into the problem where the characters are talking as if they know the audience is listening, where it's like Leia, Kylo Ren. It's like, I know Han, Kylo Ren, without actually specifying what they're talking about, which would feel completely unnatural. Or they don't bring him up, which would feel even more unnatural. Or they like tiptoe, and then it gives it away anyway, because there'd be no way that people wouldn't figure out. They're like,
I saw him.
I saw him, and yeah. Han
and Leia
saying,
reacts,
I
and it's
saw
like,
him.
oh wait, could it be? Could maybe? And then
No,
Ben's like the
Max,
oh
who are you kidding?
man, now I understand.
I'm sorry, who are you kidding?
They could have made it
I'm
work.
not
If
kidding.
Han had
What?
said, I saw him, there is zero other option to who they could be referring to. I refuse
Well,
to
no,
believe
I know that. I
anyone
know
would have been
that- no.
fooled by that.
Sean, I'm saying that the fact that it's not saying I saw my son. It's not saying like I saw him. We know that he's talking about Kylo Ren, but why does Leia react that way? Now we
Because
could guess.
it's so obvious it's their son. If you open with, you can't tell the truth that it's your family, and then they're like tiptoeing around like, I saw him, Kylo Ren, I saw him, and Leia reacts so strongly, it would have been so obvious the twist would not have an impact. It would not. And it opened up so
Disagree.
much. I love Leia and Han, their interaction, because there is kind of an underlying current of what Kylo Ren is and kind of the sadness for losing him. And it makes the stakes so much bigger when Han goes off to the climax, because he's also going to get his son back. And we know it's probably not going to work out. Whether that means Han survives it or not, I highly doubt the movie is going to end with Kylo Ren going back home. It added so much to the movie to just get out of the way. It's completely worth it. And it made Kylo Ren more interesting. Because as much as I liked the character, I found it way more interesting when his helmet came off. But before that, he went from masked, decently mysterious and interesting villain with a cool lightsaber to the son of Han Solo. That was an instant upgrade. Even though, I pretty much, I was 99.9% sure anyway. As soon as it confirmed, like, yes. And it added a little bit of interest. And then he took off his helmet, his performance was easier to face, and he became my favorite character in the movie. But it's such a crucial step to cement this character in the Star Wars canon. Why would we wait till the end? Give us a reason to care about the character. It's a great way for old fans and new, I guess, if you kind of know Legacy of Han Solo, to instantly understand that the character is important. This isn't just Darth Vader wannabe. This is Darth Vader wannabe. That is the son of Han Solo and Leia. Like this is a big deal.
the
grandson
of
Vader.
Darth Vader's
Vader.
grandson.
So like that cemented importance. It was a great way to say, hey, pay attention to this villain. This is not a Darth Maul or a Count Dooku or a Grievous. That's going to be a one movie baddie that's offed. Pay attention. I think it was such a good idea to not put it to the end. And yes, I love the idea of him saying Ben, and you're like, what? It's not worth it. It's not worth it. That immediate reveal,
Disagree.
even if I didn't see it coming, this was like amazing twist. I love what they did with it, especially with Han and Leia. And I would not buy any interactions between the two without it coming up. So in hindsight, it'd be like, that was an unnatural interaction between Han and Leia. And that would ruin one of my favorite parts of the movie, which is the interactions between Han and Leia. So I think it was completely the right move. I think it had just the right amount of buildup, as in very little. It was dropped. You got a second to go, what? As the Kylo Ren responded, I guess behind his mask, will you get that he was responding? It was a great move. I totally disagree with everything you two were saying.
Well,
That's my
can
rambling.
Feel free to disagree.
I just
but
did.
I know. That's why I'm just saying it. I don't know. It's just like in moments like that, I just feel like there are some things that just aren't really handled well that feel like they're in service of the trilogy rather than being in service of.
Which is
Of
totally
film.
valid, and I understand. And I know, Sean, we've had this discussion before. I know you don't like that criticism. I know it's like a bit holding back because it's like it's sort of like saying that an MCU movie has to stand on its own. Yeah, I get that, Sean. I know you don't like that, but there's definitely some merit to that.
Because it's honestly just an incorrect, just a like objectively, factually incorrect assessment. It isn't completely distant from two other movies. Or like MCU, it's not on its own. But that's my more important counterargument is it is a complete film. The arc of our protagonist.
There is completeness in the film. I'll give it that.
So I'm trying
It's
to
not
think of
complete.
like what elements felt off to you guys, like felt trilogy based. Like Snoke?
Well,
I mean,
Snoke, yeah.
not really as much. I think Snoke does a good job of just being that ambiguous sort of.
yeah, like he was this kind of
he's
puppet
powerful.
master, shadowy figure. Like that's
That's-
sort of role in the film.
That's
and
fine.
Tons
that
of movies,
works.
not just Star Wars, has
Yeah,
a villain
yeah.
saved for later. Sometimes it never
Right.
happens, but that's another thing.
That's a tip. Like the big power is the big faceless power is fine.
right. So I think that
I'm fine
fit.
with that.
I mean, Kylo Ren had an arc. Like
I'm just
even if
saying,
he's
like
held for later.
I'm saying a couple of things I would just bring out. And again, I like the film. I think the film does feel complete. But things like the relationship between Han Solo and Kylo Ren, Rey's whole situation, the fact that she's waiting for people and yet it's not really defined who
Well,
these
family.
people are
That's
and
all
how
we
they
need to know.
left.
See, I think this is demanding too much. I got it. She was waiting for her family. She kind of realized that they're never coming back, but
That's
and,
fine. Rey's whole shadowed past. That's fine.
Yeah,
I have no problem with that.
Honestly, I wouldn't be that upset if it carried through the whole trilogy. If it was just kind of never really came up, it might be kind of refreshing, but I'm pretty sure that's not the case. I legitimately think it's asking too much. I think we got just enough information. It's just like mention of the Republic supporting the Resistance. That's all we needed to know. We just need to know that she was waiting for
Yeah,
her family.
we didn't need a bunch of exposition. We got 3 paragraphs of that at the beginning.
Yeah. So I don't
Well,
see anything
not
that
really
feels
about any of
super
the
trilogy.
characters. The exposition was really for the sake of the plot, not really the characters. But look, it's not a major thing. It's just been something I've been thinking about because I've seen a lot of Force Awakens discussions and talks, since our last part 1, and it's just and I mean, I don't know. Like Sean and I disagree about the whole idea of whether a film should stand alone. And I think the film does stand alone. It does give a fulfilling theater experience. And I haven't really come to a complete conclusion about all of these things. It's just something to think about. And just something I wanted to bring up.
I sincerely don't see. It's definitely made with the trilogy in mind. It is not made for a trilogy, though. Everything introduced is wrapped up, except Kylo Ren and Snoke, going off for completing training. But seriously, what else is left open? Luke? But imagine how, if you really wanted to be a self-contained movie, you would have just had, celebration of defeating Starkiller Base, woohoo, happy, and then episode 8 opens with R2-D2 and them getting to Luke, and Luke's at the beginning of 8.
There's also the idea of Han and Leia, besides for just Kylo Ren, just what happened.
I got what happened.
Oh, you know exactly what happened to Han and Leia.
Well, it was pretty clear. Kylo Ren
No, yeah,
falling...
that I have no problem with. Yeah,
I like that
they,
it was...
They had a kid, they tried the whole couple thing, it didn't go well at all, so he left.
Well, no, it was more like it might not have been going great, but then it was when Kylo Ren fell to the dark side, that was just too much for both of them to handle. So I think that was very well, documented in the film. I didn't need flashbacks or any more talking about it. I got it. There was a great discussion between Han and Leia about that.
I would have liked if they had talked maybe a little bit more about that.
We're just going to keep going in circles. So we should probably get to the next part, which is the action.
Yes,
right?
and that'll be brief, I think.
Yeah, so
God
the
bless
action
J.J.
is
Abrams,
awesome.
man.
Yeah, it's really
good. Nice job to JJ. I
really
love how he brings his own
The weird thing
style
is,
to
I
this
don't really
movie.
consider these movies action movies.
No.
I don't really think about the action set pieces, even though the Battle of Hoth and the Battle of Endor and the Battle of fucking Yavin or whatever. That's all good. That's all great stuff. I just don't think of it as an action movie series.
Yeah,
Well, this definitely felt like the most of an action film than any other Star Wars.
That's
film,
true.
in my
I would
opinion.
agree to that.
But
Really?
that's just because
I thought that was episode 3.
Well,
no,
I guess a
no.
little bit.
It's just, I think it's just because of the way that George Lucas shot them, as opposed to how J.J. Abrams shoots these movies.
J.J.
I think
Yeah,
J.J.
because this movie looks incredible for the record.
Yeah, J.J.
in
Abrams just
cinematography,
has-
it's incredible.
It really is
Yeah.
amazing.
Yeah, J.J. Abrams
Somebody
has this
told me that it looks like a TV director made it. And I'm like, what are you talking
Yeah,
about?
no, get out of here.
TV director.
It
What?
looks
that,
awesome.
That feels more like
I mean,
the prequels,
J.J.
if
Abrams
anything.
is a TV director, yes, but also
Well, more
he's
TV producer. He actually hasn't directed anything for
Yeah,
TV,
TV producer.
except
Really?
Alias.
he never
pilot
directed
or
an episode
something.
of Alias, really.
I think he did
Okay,
one, but
Yeah, one.
he's done
Alias
5
episode, I think.
features, so he's done more movies.
Right.
Anyway, what I will say about the action is it did feel like a solid battle-y type of movie, especially when the First Order attacks Mascanada's castle, I guess it's called, or
Yeah.
the cantina,
Yeah.
whatever.
Like,
Like,
that
you
was
see
cool.
the statue fall.
The
it's like,
X-wings
oh,
in
man.
planets a little disappointed. We didn't get a little more space combat, but we got some at the beginning. That was cool, and the lightsaber duel at the end was really good. It felt
Oh,
very
it was so good.
yeah.
It's-
I'm one of the
you know what?
I'm one of the
You know
people
the
that
weird part
actually
is?
prefer the prequel lightsaber fights to the original trilogy.
Really?
Yeah,
Really?
I love the over choreographed because it gives the feeling that like it's just height of their abilities and they kind of know what the other person's gonna do. It's like this dance of blades, and that's awesome.
Depends
but it
on
wouldn't have fit
which
this
battle
movie.
you're talking about,
So that's why I'm glad they didn't do it because that wouldn't make sense for barely trained Kylo Ren and completely
Exactly,
untrained
yeah.
Finn and possibly maybe a tiny bit trained whatever Rey. You know, so I'm glad they went a different route. But it felt different than even original trilogy. Original trilogy was a little more static and a little more basic. Like it just felt like sword fighting. Here it was kind of it felt more brutal and more, I don't know, raw. It was a good approach.
I think a big thing about that is something I'd like to bring up about the lightsaber fight specifically. You notice how, like, especially in the original trilogy, and there's a little bit of in the prequel trilogy, but not enough. The idea that have we ever tried like actually just hitting somebody with a lightsaber, but not completely cutting off like
Yeah,
an
that's
appendage?
actually a good point. Huh.
Yeah, like we I mean in the prequel trilogy, I think it's like in episode 3, we get like one thing where Anakin is hit like a little bit and gets a scar. Maybe it's episode 1, I'm not really sure. But in the original trilogy especially, it's just dun 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 and a whole arm, comes off. It's that's kind of like it was crazy, which worked. But like here, we have a thing. One of my favorite parts was when Kylo Ren was singeing Finn's shoulder using that sort of
the crossguard
hilt part,
Yeah.
the crossguard part of the lightsaber, and that makes lightsaber fights so much more interesting because it makes the lightsaber feel like more of a not just this one end all weapon where it's only used for slicing off, doing the final blow. You can also do some smaller blows, which adds a lot of tension to the last battle, especially. Which I really enjoyed.
Do we have anything else to say about action? Like I thought it was good.
I just think
well
JJ
spaced out action. I would like to point that
Yeah,
out. Kind of going
absolutely.
with story.
Yeah.
The pace was good. It didn't feel like it slowed down
Yeah.
too much. Maybe Maz Kanata's castle. It took a little while, but the flashback was interesting and all that. So I think it went really well.
Oh, the flashback.
What's really
I
good.
just-
Love that scene so much.
Yeah, I just think J.J.
So
Abrams
much.
brought his own style to this. And George Lucas, God bless the man for his ideas. But the thing I don't think he shot action scenes that
I don't know.
great.
My favorite lightsaber duel is still at the end of 3 with Anakin Obi-Wan.
Well, oh, yes,
that hasn't been
absolutely.
touched really.
Again, yeah, that is a great. I think there are a lot of good fights in the prequels. But
honestly, Finn and Rey versus Kylo Ren might be my favorite, only because it really does demonstrate the fact that none of these people are really that good at lightsabers, but they still hit pretty hard. Like
Yeah.
But it's just so much emotion at play. Like they're not even like the coordination. There's a scene in episode 1. I'll make this quick. Where Obi-Wan is really angry at Darth Maul, and then he just goes back, and it's still like the dancing with the lightsabers, and there's nothing inherently wrong with that. But like in this, it's like they start striking, and it's like you can tell they're really trying to hit as hard as they can, like Luke in Return of the Jedi when he goes after Vader, and just does not let go, and it's like so much emotion at play because as somebody I don't remember which YouTuber this was, maybe it was I don't know, but this YouTuber said because when lightsabers are happening, when people are battling, it's not about the lightsabers, it's about them.
Well, yeah, that's
When,
all
like-
fight scenes. Hopefully,
Yeah, like it's not about how sparkly and magical the dancing lightsaber battles in the prequels are. It's in the original and in this one, it's about what the characters are experiencing, and you can see that through. And I'm not trying to make this a whole thing against the prequel lightsaber battles. That's like whatever. What I'm trying to say is,
Why would
I
you?
liked how the lightsaber battle here was like it showed so much emotion, and it's weird because I thought a lot of people wouldn't like that part where Rey's like the Force, and she's kind of just concentrates
I
and
think that
goes
was a
into
little
it.
rushed and a little like kind of wait, what?
See, I thought that people wouldn't like that because I loved it, and even though it kind of puts everything to a halt, but it's like, it's super awesome. Like, I loved everything about that scene, and I think it's honestly like probably the best lightsaber fight in the whole series. Yes, that beats Darth Vader v. Luke in either of the originals.
No.
Okay.
Anakin Obi-Wan, man, it combines that raw.
It's
emotion
really
so
good,
with
yeah.
long. It's
Yeah,
so
because
long.
it's awesome. And
Yoda
it's
v.
diverse.
Emperor,
great.
Palpatine. That's where it's at, bro.
No.
That's where it's at.
No.
Anyway, so let's talk about humor real quick because
Yes.
this movie is funny.
can I just say one last
Oh,
thing?
okay.
First of all, can I just say that Obi-Wan moment at the end of episode 1 is easily one of the best, in my opinion, one of the best Star Wars moments ever.
Wait,
I
what?
love it when Qui-Gon dies and Obi-Wan is just so mad and so enraged that he just goes at it and then
But
Darth Maul
I
bites
was
the dust.
demonstrating why that's poorly executed.
Well, I just wanted to counter that because I love
Okay.
that moment. I think it just shows a lot of raw energy, which was great. But to think about, I just think that J.J. Abrams really brings this very dynamic feel to the entire movie. Even when it's not an action scene, there's just a lot more. I don't know. The look of it just feels a lot more like dynamic. It's just more impactful. It's a lot more interesting. I don't know, especially with space fights, in my opinion. I don't know. Just maybe it's because of the technology they're using, but when compared to there's no contest, I think, when compared to the original trilogy.
Yeah.
I really like Abrams's. I think it was good to have new directors besides George Lucas take on this, franchise. It gives an interesting look to the new trilogy.
Well, again, remember, 5 and 6 were directed by different people, but yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, but Lucas was still pretty strong at the helm of them.
He said it's rumored that Lucas thinks that Episode 5 is the worst one because he had the least involvement. For the record.
But he still wrote it.
No, he didn't.
No, he didn't. He did the story. It was written by Lawrence Kasdan.
The story is pretty important.
Well, it is.
Whatever. Yeah, I get what you're saying, though.
Yeah. Anyway,
now I'm done.
Well, hey, for the record, David S. Goyer thought the story of Batman Begins.
With
There
the
you go.
Nolan brothers.
With the no.
I'm saying that
exactly.
story is a weird credit to have. Anyway, so let's talk about humor real quick. I think this movie is funny where it needs to be funny.
Yep, I think it's a
Funny.
really great balance. Like, there's so many movies that just it goes from comedy to seriousness. It just doesn't work. Like, it
Lilo and
breaks it.
Stitch, anybody? Lilo and Stitch? All right. I'd say that, like...
Whoa,
it's-
where did that come
Yeah,
from?
where did that come from?
Out
It's
of
just, I think when
nowhere.
I think of, like, imbalance between serious moments and funny moments, that's the movie I think of. Always.
I recently, I'll get to that
love
in
Lilo
an
and
upcoming
Stitch.
episode.
That's like the
Love
poster child. I just want to point
I
that out.
disagree. I think it's a good balance.
Disagree, yeah. Wow.
Go back and watch before you laugh in my face about how you disagree.
I've seen that movie many times.
Me too.
I love Lilo and Stitch.
My point is, this is the first time in the Star Wars series where we actually see some, like, genuine humor. Like,
No.
look,
No.
I
Empire Strikes
like-
Back is a really funny movie. Rewatch it.
Han
look,
and Leia.
I have many times. Laugh it up, Fuzzball. Yes, it's a great line. Yoda's whole thing is absolutely hysterical. but
Oh,
this is the
Episode
first time
5
where,
is
like...
is the funniest Star Wars movie, probably.
Yeah, I would say so.
Not
Yeah.
6. 6 is hilarious.
I mean, 6 definitely
and,
funny
and hilarious
too,
in its own, like, not unintentional way. This is the first time where we have humor that's, like, kind of very much like
It's a very
not
modern
of Star
sense
Wars.
of humor.
None of it's like none of it's weird. Like, it feels very contemporary.
Yes.
I guess maybe that's
Which
what I mean.
might date it
makes
more
sense.
than the other movies, but I don't
Yeah.
think so. I don't know.
Again, the
I don't
only
know.
time that the joke like really threw me off guard was the only line in the movie that completely took me out of it. Got a boyfriend?
yeah,
Cute
yeah,
boyfriend?
hate it.
Like that's
And also what
Yeah.
bothers me is that Ray's like, none of your business. That's why. It's like, didn't you just like tell a droid you just met 2 seconds ago earlier in the movie? It's like, for my family. It's like, why are you not
it's
telling
because,
things? You just had
her
a touching
reaction to
moment.
something like that. No, wait. I think her reaction to "you got a family" is like very strong, and she's like, "No, I'm not going to tell you," because
Well, she told a droid, like a ball of
I know
metal.
that.
There's something
I know
about
that.
droids that people just have more confidence
Yeah,
in
that's fair.
droids. I don't know
Yeah,
why.
'cause droids are like
people
dogs.
tell droids everything.
Yeah, all I have to
Best
say
thing
about the comedy is that it worked.
Ugh.
Very funny. Han
Yeah,
Solo especially
real
felt
funny.
like Han Solo. Great.
thumbs up.
Yep.
BB-8
It's
was
thumbs up.
freaking amazing.
But
oh
I was
my god.
rewatching Star Wars, and I was in my head, Max. I was thinking about what you said. Finn is, a real person thrown in the Star Wars universe. I disagree. Do you know what I think he is?
Really?
I think he's a Marvel character thrown into the Star Wars universe. Because I followed up
you
with
know
Age of
what?
Ultron.
That's not bad.
I watched Age of Ultron right next to it, and
Oh wow.
it's really
That must
weird.
be
He
weird.
does feel like a Marvel character, which I'm not saying is a bad thing at all.
Do you think they designed him to be like that?
Maybe.
Given the fact that Marvel Studios is so big right now.
Because cause just picture like you can easily picture like Tony Stark saying "droid, please" to like Jarvis or something.
Droid, please.
Like, different
You think-
inflection, but,
some
like,
people
that
think it's
line-
kind of like a take on
No,
a
don't-
certain other phrase
yeah,
that
maybe, but but anyway.
I don't want to point pointing fingers. That's
And I don't
weird.
think that's necessarily a bad thing. I think that was a fun little observation. Like, he feels like a Marvel character in the Star Wars universe, which is cool.
I can see that. Yeah, and I mean it works. Like
Yeah, it was funny.
yeah. The weird thing is like it's funny because everybody's been talking. A few months ago, people were talking about how Spectre is bad because it tries to be a Marvel movie. Now we have a character trying to be a Marvel character, and it totally works. Mm-hmm. So, but real talk, stop imitating Marvel so much, guys. It's as much as I love Finn, this is the path of plagiarism that you don't need.
Well, not really plagiarism. They own both.
Yeah, I mean not plagiarism, but like
Legally,
you know
they
what
can
I
do
mean.
whatever they want.
Individualism, like
Yeah.
individuality with different franchises. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no, I'm just giving you a hard time.
Okay, let's see. So we got action. Is that all we have to say about humor? Like it was really good, except for that one line. That one.
Just cut it out.
Gosh
Just cut that
dang-
line. What's the problem?
Yeah, really. Like there are like I
What's
think
wrong-
that was
what's-
improvised.
what's-
I wouldn't be surprised if that was improvised. And I just like, leave it in.
That would kind of be
I
a
mean-
slight towards John Boyega because I felt way out of character.
Yeah, it felt way out of character and way out of Star Wars. Like, that
Yeah.
is the line where it's like,
When
oh,
has
you are
Star
from
Wars
Mom.
ever talked about boyfriends? Like, that word has
And
never
yeah,
been
I
said.
think-
They were
it
either,
makes
like,
up for it.
They were
Look.
either in love or married. It's like,
Yeah.
you know.
And with-
I think it makes up for it with the Han Force joke.
Yeah, that was pretty
later,
good.
which
But-
was great.
What's,
I
what's
love it.
wrong
the
with him
Force.
saying, why do I get back to Jakku? Got a family? And she gives like a look up that like kind of it gives away that yes, but there's
Right.
no words. Like that could be a nice moment. You could keep the
Or like the
scene
face of
moving.
like, back off, buddy. I don't talk about that stuff.
Yeah,
but
sure.
Boyfriend, cute boyfriend. That's. I guess he was sort of addressing the elephant in the room of yes, she is a woman who is single. As we, because that's how the weird contemporary parts of this industry work.
That's
I
how
guess.
the kids are talking nowadays. They're always asking about those boyfriends.
I really wish Fam would be like, Ray, you got a bay? Or
Ray
Oh,
Bay.
jeez.
Ray's bay?
RAE. God.
Anyway.
Anyway,
Oh,
so
please, let's stop
okay,
this.
so we just passed the hour mark.
I say we
is
do
it just time to do
quick
some...
speculation.
Okay,
Yeah.
yeah. So, all right.
Should we each
Here,
just
I
like
wanna say this
shoot
right
off
now.
the things we expect to see in 8 and 9?
Yeah. Can I say something?
Go.
Just real quick. Everybody's expecting Rey to be Luke's daughter. I agree, which is why they won't do it. They're not going to do it. They would not give in like that. They wouldn't.
I honestly
They
give it
wouldn't
like a
do
50-50.
Yeah, I mean, there are theories that she is Rey Kenobi, which would be awesome. I don't know if it would really be backed up, and it's weird that it's backed up by a lot of evidence that isn't in the movie. It's only in like the comics and stuff. And in the comics, if you guys don't know, Han is married in between, during the
Okay.
events of Episode 4.
If you read the
That's-
comics,
that-
it was a fake wedding in order to get money and swindle someone, but it turned out to be real. It's not like he actually had a relationship leading to marriage.
Oh,
Yeah.
Saint Solo, everybody. She's gonna be forgotten very
Probably.
soon. So I think they're not gonna do Rey Skywalker because everybody's expecting it to be.
But
because it's like,
when Kylo Ren was in Rey's head, he said, "Sleep at night, picture an ocean. I see it. I see the island. And where's Luke? There's the ocean planet. He's on the
yeah.
island."
And
It
of
seems
course, there's
like a
that whole
weird
sequence where it
parallel.
looks like she was there during the fall of
Yeah.
the new Jedi Order. Like,
And I think she was. I think she. If she's
you
not
think
related
she's
to
Luke's
Luke,
daughter who got memory wiped? Like,
Yeah.
you think that's what happened?
I mean, Seven's already setting up that the Force can like go into people's heads. Why couldn't Luke erase it
Yeah.
for her own protection after Kylo Ren
The
fell?
Force is getting more and more powers with every movie.
And that's
I
cool,
swear.
honestly. It awakened, It's got more powers.
Am
now.
I the only one that thinks that that Rey being Luke's daughter is just kind of too easy?
Yeah,
Well,
exactly. That's why I don't
it's-
think they'll.
No, like just too easy in general, like as a plot element. Not even waiting till 9.
Here's what I'm
Just,
saying.
like, it
What
feels
if
kind of
Rey-
like
no? What if
you know?
Rey is not the daughter of Luke Skywalker, but like the daughter of one of his disciples who died?
Yeah,
that's
see,
the
that
other
would be a
option.
little bit
That- I
more.
was
That
gonna
would be a
bring
Like,
little
that
bit
and
more
Luke feels
interesting.
responsible, so he looks to her as a daughter figure.
She's
sort
the
of, or,
last
like, as-
survivor. Would basically
Yeah,
be
like,
so
you
she
know,
was there when
we-
the new Jedi.
she was the
whacked out.
youngling.
She was the youngling.
Oh god! Like because see again, as I mentioned, I'm all for keeping character parallels, but this movie does so much to like mess with those. Like just kind of keeping that direct link that yep, Rey's Luke's son. It just feels a little bit too like well, okay.
Yeah, again, that's why they won't do it. I think that makes more sense. Like, he feels guilty. He's like, I will train you, for your mother was great at Jedi stuff, or something. I don't know.
Yeah,
Like,
that makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, but I think she
that's,
was
that's
there.
what I'm thinking, because that makes, like, that brings about the whole shame thing, the whole, like, that's why Luke feels obligated to train her, not just because, like, it's, what, like, the whole conflict at the beginning of 8 might be, I didn't want to train you because last time this happened, somebody went nuts, and somebody killed some people, and it was bloody, and
Yeah.
it was a bad day. But if it's like, oh, because of my stupid mistake with Ben Solo, your mother, your father, whatever, they died while you watched, and I can't let that, I can't, like, maybe she finds out somehow, and she's like, you have to train me. Like, this has to happen. You gotta do this, buddy. Like, we gotta work together to beat Kylo Ren. He's like, you can't just beat, it's that's the whole conflict here. It's the weird, it might be a conflict of the Jedi way versus the not, versus the do it because you have to avenge your family kind of thing.
Okay, we probably shouldn't spend this much time on each point of speculation.
Sorry. I've been thinking a lot about the whole Rey,
I
her
get a
past
50-50
is
shot.
definitely like,
She,
yeah.
I'm almost 100% certain that she was at the New Jedi Temple or whatever when Kylo Ren wiped it out. I'm almost positive that she was there when she was really little, and for her protection, like she was the last survivor, Luke put her on Jakku. Whether or not that means he's her daughter, 50-50 shot. If she's related to a character, it's absolutely Luke, because that would have come up if she was Han and Leia's daughter. But yeah, I don't think she's a Kenobi. I mean, it'd be kind of cool to explain it, but Obi-Wan seemed pretty like down with the Jedi Order, so I don't think he broke any vows like Anakin did. So that would be kind of out of character almost. Maybe like.
And again, those vows were always kind of weird because they were only in place during the episode 2. That was the first time they were introduced, right?
Well, yeah, because 1 didn't bother to do anything, right? Anyway,
no, what I mean is that they were never in the original trilogy. Like the idea of Jedi not having kids.
Well, because
was never...
the Jedi didn't exist.
Yeah, and I think it's just also a great excuse for Jedis to not have kids, so that there's not a bunch of Jedi running around during the original trilogy. I guess.
Yeah, that might be it. Those
They're
Star Wars
dumb rules,
Rebels
for the
is
record.
taking
Dumb
care
rules.
of that. So another thing, Slash Film again, shout out, did a thing on here's why Grand Supreme Leader Snoke is probably not Darth Plagueis.
Yeah, I read that.
I'm still holding on hope because I think it'd be a great way.
Why would we do this though? I know I asked this last time, but still,
it feels weak to be like, okay, the same villain throughout the prequels and the original trilogy. Who's next? Is a guy.
He's a guy.
He's a guy. He tried to name himself Smoke. He got a typo.
What do you? Damn autocorrect. I guess that'd be in reverse, but anyway, it's like it's like what was he doing? Why did this happen? He had no bearing on 1 through 6, and suddenly 7 is the big bad. It would make so much sense that the person that it's unbelievably heavily implied, as in confirmed, I believe now, that it was Darth Plagueis that did some Force stuff that conceived Anakin was
yes, that's what I was gonna say.
Like just
right
with midichlorians. So maybe they don't want to do it just so they don't have to say midichlorians. But
Darth Plagueis scared the Force into getting all up in Space Skywalker. That's the whole thing.
But imagine that loop creates Darth Vader, but killed by Apprentice. But come on, he knows how to cheat death. So with Palpatine's death, it somehow lets him return. And so now he's back trying to pick up the pieces. And he finds the grandson of the great Sith Lord he helped create, Kylo Ren. He corrupts him to do his bidding. And
that's why he makes him follow Darth Vader.
Yeah, all the rumors of
Dang.
Hayden Christensen being in Episode 7 and the concept art, which is confirmed that he was going to be, where he's like half Vader, half Anakin as like a ghost, almost confirmed he's going to be an 8. And there was already a kind of a leaked thing that Disney sent people to go work with Hayden Christensen to prepare for Episode 8. Snoke is going to bring him back in ghost form to complete Kylo Ren's training. I think Snoke has power over death, and only one person is established to have that, and that's Darth Plagueis.
Yep.
That's why
it would just feel weird to bring back a character who was originally introduced in a expositional talk in Episode 3.
But it's the best scene of Episode 3.
Yeah, it's the best scene of Episode 3. That's what I was going to say, too.
It's really, I really love that scene. That's a legitimately great scene. The atmosphere, the lines, the tension, it's great. And I just like scenes where a character tells a story. I've always loved those scenes.
Yeah, it's one of the only scenes that explores... It's one of the only scenes that explores the lore. Yeah, it explores, it world builds, but, in a really interesting atmospheric way. And you know what? It's just like you brought up that whole thing about Anakin. I recently learned about that. I learned of the theory that Darth Plagueis is conceived Anakin.
That's not a theory. I think that is now confirmed.
Yeah, see, I've been looking it up. People say that in all confidence, but I couldn't find any.
But it seems so obvious to me, at least. Yeah, I know. It's the Sith Lord that could, he says, he was so powerful, he could influence the midichlorians to create life.
No,
it's and he just turns.
Yeah. Can we have an excuse to have Palpatine come back in Episode 8? Just
because the expanded universe had him he had clones of himself and he transferred his consciousness.
No, that's okay, but that was wiped. That doesn't exist anymore.
Yes, so don't do that.
Palpatine has one of the weirdest expanded universe stories ever. Go look it up.
Don't care about expanded universe anymore.
So
thankfully.
Weird.
Yeah.
But I just. I think it's also just too good. It's too good of an idea that Darth Plagueis is sort of because that is a good point that Sean brings up. The new trilogy feels if the main villain was just sort of a guy, it would feel a little bit too disconnected.
Yeah,
if we really want to play up the parallels and everything,
especially if Rey is just someone. Our protagonist has no link. It's just was being trained as a parent or whatever, was being trained as a Jedi, hidden away, no relation to the original trilogy. Yeah. And our big bad is just some new guy.
Yeah, and for the record, Snoke was very interested in Rey right when he heard about her.
Oh, yeah, so I'm sure.
So was Kylo Ren.
Yeah.
What girl? Great scene.
That was a great scene.
Great moment.
She's strong with the Force.
Untrained, but stronger than she knows. Yeah, great scene.
Darth Plagueis.
Okay, by the way, can I just say, this movie is very quotable.
It is.
Very quotable. Like,
Well, you
I
really
won't be
expect a
quoting this
Star Wars
for a
movie to
while.
come out and not be quotable?
I mean,
you
like,
kind of have to expect
more so than the prequels, which had quotes that were kind of
I hate sand.
dumb, like this. Yeah,
Of course, and rough
It,
from
go,
here
it,
to-
it's course,
Anakin
it gets
fits
the
everywhere.
everywhere.
Emperor is evil. From my point of view, the Jedi are evil. Though, of course, you
Okay,
could argue
let's be
that.
honest though.
But-
Ewan McGregor sells that response. Well, then you are.
Right,
Yeah,
lost.
he's like Anakin.
He's great.
The Emperor's evil. Are you crazy?
Yeah,
You were
I
supposed to
actually like
destroy
that
the
line.
Sith, not join them.
Yeah, okay. I want to
That's
say that
good.
right now. That is an instance where nuance should be dropped. In that high emotional moment, that is exactly what Obi-Wan should say. I love that
Sure.
scene. Anyway, I'll always defend I'll always defend 2
Yeah.
and 3.
And-
Plus, there are some great lines that come from the prequels.
The one
Anyway,
one of my
Fearless
let me
and
say-
angry.
okay,
Let me say-
one more speculation thing.
Okay, fine.
One more. What should you? Oh, I just want to say, I had an idea for Snoke real quick. He's maybe like the community, like he's a creature that was born out of like the dark side's like wavering existence after the death of the Emperor, and he was created as the sole thing. I don't know. Okay, so one more thing to speculate about. One more thing.
Okay.
Well, I have
quickly.
a few quick things.
Yeah,
We're going to get Rey
Let's make
and
this quick.
Luke training, obviously. We're going to get some. I think Leia's going to go back and kind of take over the pieces of the New Republic and kind of become the leader, and that's cool. Han is
Yeah.
dead. Let's not like speculate if he's coming back. I really hope he
No
doesn't.
Ghost Han.
No Ghost Han.
No Ghost Han. Did not
Oh
become
yeah.
one
Oh,
with the
there's no
Force
way
or
they'll
anything
do
like
that.
that.
Besides,
No.
Harrison Ford would not come back. For
No,
that.
he wouldn't.
wouldn't.
He's not that kind of actor.
Nope.
He's so stubborn. He probably wouldn't agree to this had they not killed him. honestly.
Probably not. Yeah.
Anyway,
I do have one.
Okay, what else?
One last thing. It's gonna be awesome. I'm unbelievably excited for episode 8. It's Ryan Johnson, who's great.
Ryan Johnson.
But
Ryan
what
Johnson.
I'm really hoping they do, which I kept picking up, I kept like itching at the back of my mind. I'm going to say it. It's going to sound weird, but it's going to fit when you think about it, and it's no sense of irony or they should do it because progressive, whatever. I sincerely hope we get a Poe-Finn relationship. Sincerely,
Really?
yes.
You think so?
Sure.
Those two
Do
are
it.
awesome?
That'd be fun.
I mean, I
mean,
love those two. Yeah, they
like,
established a
rewatch-
close bond in 4 minutes when
Yeah.
the prequels tried and not did too well in 6 hours.
Yeah,
More than 6 hours.
rewatch it and tell me that
Yeah.
it's not like it's there, but tell me that it couldn't be there.
It could. I think it could work
I
very
think
well.
that it actually was, and I honestly think it would be awesome.
So you're a
those
faux
two-
shipper, huh?
I am a Poe shipper.
Foe.
Yep.
Foe. God.
I was deciding between
Well,
Poe.
it's better than
God.
Pin.
Yeah, Pin is
I mean-
Mulan's name.
True.
But yeah,
True.
yes, that's what I would love to see. It would be progressive, but that's not why I want to see it. I just think the characters go well together. If nothing else, keep those two together for an awesome Star Wars bromance, is I guess the term.
I think
well,
so
they're
because
they're
those
definitely
characters
doing a
embody a
bromance.
lot of like masculine traits, like, and it's not. And they're just, and not to say that not to stereotype, but it's just not those. It's really hard to imagine those characters will not probably be doing anything with any other character. Like they'll just be so
Really?
set up, and they're like,
I disagree.
go do good things for the Force, and Poe will be like, I'm just gonna fly this cool thing, and they're gonna be bros.
I
There's
hope
definitely
they,
a bromance for sure.
I hope they
definitely-
they do a relationship. Just saying.
Yeah, sure. I can
But
see it
let's not
happening.
give
It'd
in
be
to
cool.
fan service. Let's not do any sort of queer baiting. We
It's
either do
not.
it
I
or we don't.
sincerely hope they do it.
No.
Well,
I'm
yeah,
saying
you
if
know-
they're gonna do it,
Right.
they do it, and they don't like do that weird thing that shows like I don't know, Supernatural
Yeah,
does. Where,
like
they're
Supernatural's
it's always like,
entire
are
point.
they? Aren't they? You never know.
Yeah.
Fans keep
Well, I
speculating.
mean, when you think about it, the main characters are a woman and a black man. They're already going kind of progressive.
But it's not.
Ish.
Again, it's not even about that. I just think the characters work really
I know.
well.
I'm just bringing that up to supplement, what you're saying.
And I'm just saying,
it makes sense.
The moment where Poe says, "That's my jacket," and he's like, "No, keep it. It suits you." There's a little bit. Rewatch that scene. It's a little bit. It's a little.
Yeah.
I
bit.
mean,
Okay,
I don't know,
hey,
I don't know
I'm
about
not
how fashion
take-
works over there, but I would be like, hey, look, dude, you look good in that. You just have it, man. Go for
I don't
it.
know. There might be
I
something
already,
there.
I got my cool ship. You good?
Okay, Max, what's your thing? You want to
Yeah, I
speculate?
thought you said you have
Oh.
one more.
Yeah, you have one more thing.
I know. Let's see. There is that. I'll be really quick. There's a theory that there's an idea that maybe Rey and Kylo Ren will hook up.
Terrible.
Yeah.
Because you can
They should
do
be-
redemption, but you can't have life after redemption in this kind
I
of
don't want
movie.
Kylo Ren to be redeemed.
Yeah, honestly,
I'm hoping
I
he
kind-
doesn't get redeemed.
I want
There's
there
also
to
a
be
theory
conflict.
that that he's actually becoming a Sith. You've probably seen this. He's become a Sith Lord because he's actually on the good side because
No.
he has to do what he thinks that Darth Vader did.
No.
Don't pull a
do
Spectre.
that.
Don't rewrite.
God,
don't
please
rewrite
don't
the
pull a
motivations.
Spectre.
Kylo Ren had a very clear and interesting motivation for this movie. Don't Episode 9 be. Actually, I was good. That's why I wiped out the entire. Wait, what was the system? Ilenium system was the base. Anyway,
Look it up. Maybe I'm mincing words here, but I look it up what it actually is. Somebody had like a really interesting theory about like how Kylo Ren is doing what he thinks that he has to do, like that whole interchange that he has. Like I don't know.
yeah, no,
All right.
okay. I'll
Please don't redeem him.
Okay, Larry, you got anything?
All I want to see, and I think this is just kind of apparent, but just I really want to see some kind of discussion of the parallels, or just maybe in editing, or just how it's shot. Please work with the idea that we have both a Jedi and not really a Sith, but a dark side person training at the same time.
Yeah, give us some parallels
Please.
throughout 8.
And not even parallels. How are they different?
Yeah.
How are their training styles different? I'm not saying do a montage where we cut between them or something, but I'm saying
I'm
which
just
could be
picturing
cool.
the Rocky
but-
movie.
Yeah, right. But I mean, I am saying though, clearly they don't train the same way. There has to be something different, and because we've never seen dark side people
That's true.
train.
We haven't.
So I wanna see, because I would really love it if there was something screwed up about how the dark side trains.
And it might
people.
involve bringing back Anakin Skywalker. So that could be cool.
Yeah.
Maybe, because there's always, because something that is never touched upon in Episode 1 is the dynamic between Sidious and Darth Maul.
Yeah, there
I
really
think
is.
there's something
And
interesting
I'm still
there,
not-
and
okay,
it's never
yeah.
worked on.
Real quick, are we ever gonna? Do you think we'll ever figure out what Kylo Ren means when he says "I will finish what you started"? Because I'm still not sure what Vader started exactly.
I guess the whole idea of the dark side and control. I guess we're probably gonna get
Was
more specific.
Palpatine- I mean, I guess nobody really knew about Palpatine that much except Vader. Like,
Well, no, he was
this
the
other
emperor.
guy.
People knew he was the emperor of the empire.
I mean, like,
Right.
like Vader was the poster boy for the Empire. I
Yeah.
guess. Like,
Right.
you think Empire? Like, dude, there's that weird guy in a black mask and stuff. He's weird, man.
he's weird.
Weird.
Don't.
All right,
He's weird. But yeah, just please, make it good, like interesting.
make
like,
it
have
good
make
movie.
Make it
hopefully.
like, I want it to be a big thing, because like we've never seen this before, and this is such an interesting dynamic that we've never experienced.
Okay.
Go Ryan Johnson.
Yeah, that's
anyway,
it.
One
we should
very
wrap this
last
stuff
thing.
up. Okay.
Give Rey
One last thing.
a double-bladed lightsaber.
Yes, give
Oh,
Rey a
be
double-bladed
so
saber.
awesome.
Because she
And
was
it's like
already
blue or
fighting with a
something.
staff.
No,
Come
it's her own color. Own color.
Color. What, we're gonna bring yellow lightsabers
No,
back?
yellow looks
No,
terrible.
never. That looks ugly. Purple? I mean,
Orange
it
looks
I was
look-
doing
terrible.
research about that, by the way. Apparently, sometimes Jedi were just choosing them out of preference at one point.
Yeah.
Well, Samuel
It's like,
Jackson
I
wanted
like
a purple
green.
lightsaber. Like, that's just what
I
he
like
did.
purple.
It's not based on his character. He just wanted a purple lightsaber.
Yeah, I really
it
wish
looks
there was
good
more
with him, I
meaning.
don't know.
I honestly wish there was more meaning behind the purple lightsaber, but that's just me.
Yeah.
Anyway,
Anyway,
They should
all right.
add some meaning in the new movie. What does it mean to be purple?
What
yeah, someone should do a movie
What does
and
it mean to be
explain
purple?
that.
That's your question of the week. What does it mean to be purple?
Don't think, just answer.
Anyway,
Yeah, just what does it mean? Anyway, all right, we're gonna get out of here. Hope you enjoy. I hope, for the record, 8.5, 8.5,
yeah.
8.5.
Star Wars.
Go
Star Wars out
see
of
the
10.
movie.
Star Wars.
definitely.
And join us. And actually, okay, the real question is, what's your favorite Star Wars speculation? Like, what's your quick little speculation about what's to come next? Like, that your favorite fan theory, or a theory you came up with on your own, or whatever. And we'll talk about it. So anyway,
And next time we finally
talk
get
about-
into our 2015
Yeah, it's our
discussions.
3 top
year
threes.
review.
Yeah,
we've got a little bit of review of the year coming up.
a lot actually.
I would give
We have a
2015
lot
the
of
year
stuff.
a 4 out of 10.
What?
Well,
No,
it's
that's
not
a
good
good
for
year.
America.
That's a good year.
Oh,
I
I
was
don't know if
talking
it was a good
movies.
year, but I don't think
Oh,
it'll
for
be 4 out
movies,
of 10.
it's 7.5.
Yeah, it's really good.
We'll see. Anyway,
All right.
whatever.
Anyway, until next time, you'll hear us later.
We're not doing names. My name is Sean.
Oh,
My
People
name is
must
Larry.
know.
Max, stop doing that.
Max, the
we have
people
names.
must know our names.
You will know my name.
Max, my name is, and you'll hear us later.